Hello there, folks. I'm the Lon Chaney Reviewer. I haven't done a general review in a while. Silent Film Saturday is still going to be Nomads in the North this week, so stay tuned for this Saturday. Today I'm going to be talking about just a few of the summer films that I've seen. I've only seen 3 of them so far. This review might contain spoilers, so stop right here if you haven't seen the movies. Let's see, I've seen Iron Man 3, Star Trek Into Darkness, and The Great Gatsby. So far, I think they're generally okay to pretty good, but none of them are particularly special. Iron Man 3 I saw the opening evening in 2D. I didn't see it in 3D. I've seen all of the Iron Man movies in 2D, so why not? And I liked it. I liked it better than 3. I liked Iron Man 3 better. I liked Iron Man 3 better than Iron Man 2, but at the end of the day, it's still very disappointing. The trailers made it look like it was going to be really something very special, which in my opinion, it wasn't extremely interesting. I still liked Robert Downey Jr. in the film. He's always good as Iron Man, and his performance alone is usually worth at least a matinee ticket price. But as for everything else is okay. I'm starting to really like Don Cheadle as Rhodey. I liked some of the gags, some of the stuff that he did as Iron Patriot. I thought that was kind of interesting. I like the idea that Iron Man sort of has like this PTSD sort of reaction to the events that happened at the end of the Avengers. But the problem with that is they make it more like a comical angle than they do a serious one, where if you think about it, that should be a very serious issue, but they treat it as a comedy gag. And I was like, come on, guys. Come on. I know you're Disney, but you shouldn't be doing that. And it almost was like the time when The Incredibles had a suicide joke. And I was like, really, Pixar? Really? A suicide joke in an all-audience picture? Just saying. There's something a bit off about that. As for the Mandarin, well, I was really looking forward to the Mandarin, and I was disappointed. At first I'm like, wait a minute. Maybe Ben Kingsley is a double for Ben Kingsley. That would have been really interesting. But then no, it's just Ben Kingsley's a double for Guy Pearce. And I'm just like, really now? I'm thinking to myself, I thought about it a while after I saw the movie. I'm like, it's an interesting risk that they took, but it still failed, in my opinion, because you were expecting the Mandarin to be this amazing villain, but it just turns out to be Guy Pearce, which I liked Guy Pearce in the movie, but he wasn't anything particularly amazing. And yeah, that's why I don't like the twist, is because it could have been interesting if it was pulled off right, but it just wasn't, in my opinion. And I'm really surprised at how many people really liked the twist. It's kind of interesting. I watched this twist and I'm like, oh my god, this is like the next Talia al Ghul. So, my thoughts on Iron Man 3, overall, I liked the action okay. Okay, the other thing that's the movie, there's a kid in the movie that he meets up sort of halfway into the film that kind of helps him. I didn't mind the kid's performance, it's just, it wasn't an element that was like, oh my god, amazing, but it wasn't anything that ruined the movie for me. And because I knew there were some people who were like, oh, there's a kid in the movie, and I'm like, you know what, if the kid's decent enough, then I don't mind kids in movies. For example, Jackie Coogan in the 1921 film The Kid. Phenomenal child performance. But that's besides the point. So, what would I have to give Iron Man 3 out of 10? Well, the first Iron Man I think is a 10. Great movie. Iron Man 2 is like a 5 or a 6 because it's not that great. Iron Man 3 I'd say between a 6 or a 7. Disappointing, but overall not bad. Just okay. So I also saw Star Trek Into Darkness. Now, keep this in mind. I am not a Star Trek fan. I've seen the Star Trek the Motion Picture, one of the most boring films I've ever seen in my life. Oh my god. Wrath of Khan is amazing, and yeah, that's really about it. When I first watched it, I thought, this movie is freaking amazing. And then I thought about it after the movie, and I'm like, this is like the next Prometheus. Because first off, David Lindelof's involved. Second, there's people who either really love Star Trek Into Darkness or think it's really stupid. And I'm just like, I can see why, because Star Trek Into Darkness in some ways is kind of a ripoff of Wrath of Khan. Oh, and spoiler alert, Benedict Cumberbatch is Khan. I knew that from the get-go, and I'm just like, I knew it. So, what did I think of his performance? I really liked his performance, actually. It's different from the Khan that we know from Wrath of Khan. I've heard from some people he's more like Khan from Space Seed, but I have never seen that episode anyway, so I can't comment for that. But I really liked his performance. He was literally a character that was brute force and intelligence that was actually kind of threatening, and I liked him. It basically was what Bane in The Dark Knight Rises should have been like, because I didn't think Bane was a great villain in The Dark Knight Rises at all, but that's just my opinion. The rest of the movie, I think everybody's really good in the movie. It's just, there's stupid things in the script, and there's like, oh, look at the role reversal in Wrath of Khan, that they do, and they have Spock say Khan. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my god, this is the closest thing Star Trek will ever have to a Darth Vader screaming no in Episode 3. Oh my god, I can't believe I saw that in a movie where Spock screams Khan. I can't believe I saw that on the big screen in 3D. Which, I did see this in 3D, and it's not great in 3D. So, Into Darkness, between a 7 and 8, because as an action film, if you're just ignoring the stupid stuff that happens, it's a lot of fun, but you really have to check your brain in at the door. So, yeah, between a 7 and an 8, I would probably say. For me, it was a 9, because I just had so much fun watching it. And it was just so much fun seeing something that was thoroughly entertaining. Then I saw The Great Gatsby. The Great Gatsby, I saw it in 3D. The only purpose for the 3D is for the opening and closing credits. That's where it looked pretty good, with the gold furnishings and all that stuff. What do I think about DiCaprio? I'm not a DiCaprio fan in particular. I don't hate the man's work, it's just I'm not a fan. I really liked him in this. He was perfect as Gatsby. It's like Morgan Freeman and Nelson Mandela. You can't imagine a more perfect combination. The rest of the cast I thought was pretty solid. I liked Tobey Maguire. Carey Mulligan was good as Daisy. I've read the book, and when I was a sophomore in high school, I hated the book. But then when I grew older, I realized you don't need likable characters in order to have a great story. And none of the characters in The Great Gatsby are particularly likable, at least in my opinion. So that worked out, and yeah, you kind of feel bad for Gatsby. At the same time, you have to realize that Gatsby is not a entirely sympathetic character. He's almost the opposite in some ways. Other elements I didn't care for. Well, it's obviously flashy and over the top, and that's what Baz Luhrmann's good at. He's good at doing flashy and over the top. Now, in comparison to Baz Luhrmann's other films, I have not seen Strictly Ballroom. I didn't like Romeo and Juliet. I thought Moulin Rouge was meh. Australia was meh. This movie I really like. This is probably my favorite of Baz Luhrmann's films. And now that I think of it, it's probably my favorite movie out of the 3 that I'm talking about right now. I probably have to give it a 9. Yes, there are problems, and the movie's like 2.5 hours long. It's not really a superhero action thing, so it's just, okay, 2.5 hours of people you don't like. But I think the style is well executed. The Jay-Z stuff as the score, I didn't mind it because it works as sort of like what like imagine if you were in this time period. This would sound like it's like what we think of this type of music, like this jazz, like this rap music and hip hop and all that. They thought of it as as jazz in the 20s. So I like that. That's my summary for what I've seen so far in this summer. I haven't seen The Hangover Part 3, but I'm dreading that experience because I did not like The Hangover Part 2, and this film is getting horrible reviews. And I'm really looking forward to Man of Steel. I already ordered my, I got my Walmart tickets. Got up 5 in the morning, got there at 6 in the morning, waited 2 hours. Even though there was nobody there waiting for these tickets. So that was a weird decision on my part. But I have the tickets, so now I'm going to be able to see it June 13th with my cousins and my aunt and uncle, my mother and my brother. So that's really cool. I'm also just going to watch the Wolverine because I'm an X-Men fan, and even though it might be stupid, I'll be like, okay, whatever, it's Wolverine. But I really can't wait for Days of Future Past, which is coming out next year. What do you guys think of the movies so far this summer? What movies this summer have you seen? What movies are you looking forward to? What movies are you not looking forward to? And if there's any movies that you're looking forward to next year, what are you looking forward to next year? I'll see you on Silent Film Saturday this week with Nomads in the North on June 2nd. And I'll be posting more videos in the near future. See you guys later.